Two of the most depraved criminals in the state are now in custody. Again. I'm not talking about some mass murderers. I'm talking about Susan Harris and her husband Bill from Albuquerque. The Harrises are white-collar criminals, so they're non-violent, but they're the very worst kind of criminals. The kind who prey on the most helpless and vulnerable people in our society, and in many cases ruin their lives. Susan was the president of Ayudando Guardians, a company that managed the finances of elderly people who had been ruled incompetent to manage their own money. And she and her husband stole over $11 million from thousands of their unsuspecting clients, leaving many destitute. When they were exposed, they faced significant time in prison. Susan was looking at 30 years, so they simply skipped out. After they'd been found guilty, they just disappeared and didn't show up for their sentence hearing in March. The U.S. federal marshals went hunting for them and didn't take very long to find them either, because they didn't run very far. Like many criminals, they weren't very imaginative in looking for a place to hide. Not only did they not run far, but they made the mistake of taking their chihuahua with them. Cops who had staked out their suspected hideout spotted the unsuspected canine stool pigeon out on the lawn doing its business. And then the cops who had just been waiting to identify the correct department in the complex swooped in. The Harrises are now back in Albuquerque and facing additional charges, so they'll spend even more time in federal prison. All because they made a very poor decision when they decided to make a run for it. Not to a glamorous, far-off country with no extradition treaty, but rather to, well, I'll let Bill Harris tell you himself.
We ran to Oklahoma just to spend the money that we took. We thought we'd live there without a care, 'cause the cops would never think to look in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Every night we'd sit out on the lawn. We were laying low and saving dough, 'cause there's not much there to spend it on. I know that a crook's what I am, but those old folks were easy to scam, and we thought we're safe there in Shawnee, 'cause we would never open the door in the daytime except to let Mandy out to pee. Bad dog, Mandy. How could you do that to Mommy and Daddy?